They're all going, I think. Oh, at least from here I can see through.
Oh, that's nice. It's nice. Just twist it like that.
Oh, there you go.
All right. And I'm going to go get out of the picture.
Okay.
What do you think, man?
Okay.
Let me walk out of the picture first then.
Yes. Okay. So David, can you tell me how the pipeline will affect this part of your property?
Well, yes. The current route is proposed down along into these pine trees
Okay.
down here. From where we're standing, the proposed pipeline is about maybe 125 to 150 feet from here, down in the pine trees. It'll affect our view tremendously because a lot of these pine trees will be cut down and not anything will be allowed to grow back.
Right.
So one thing the pine trees do is they provide a buffer between us and Route 460, so that will be compromised.
Okay.
They're also beautiful to look at when the wind blows, the way that they sway against each other. It's almost like, you know, you can see the wind in the pine trees. And then when it snows, they're just unbelievable. You know, we get a nice wet snow that sticks to all the trees and all the leaves. They're just gorgeous. So we'll lose that. Not to mention if there's any leaks or explosions. We're less than 200 feet from the pipeline. If it explodes down here, we'll all be incinerated. So yeah, it'll affect our property in those ways.
And can you explain the significance of these pine trees?
Well, yes. When I bought the place in 1970, it was all cleared. You could look right down on the highway. So I planted these trees with help in about 1971 and 1972. So they're, what, 45, 6 years old. So yeah, they've got some emotional attachment to the pine trees since I planted them.
And are you worried about it affecting your water or
Yes,
anything
we're
in your
worried
house?
about not only erosion, but we have a well that we rely on for drinking water. The well is 500 feet deep, so the bottom of the well will be far below the pipeline. If there's any leaks during construction, such as diesel, other fluids, they use various chemicals in blasting. We're worried that those will get into the ground and eventually work our way into the aquifers that feed our well. So we're worried that our drinking water will be compromised.
And as a former land surveyor, how have you seen projects like this go? Is it likely that, you know, it will cause these problems to your home, or?
Well, it's hard to say whether it's likely or not. The truth is, there is a possibility that it could explode. Pipelines explode all the time. Being a land surveyor, I've never worked on a project this large, so I can't really address that. I mean, I've worked on smaller projects, water lines, sewer lines, and things that actually do serve the public that they're crossing. And those, you know, it's a typical backhoe digs a trench, you know, 4 feet deep or so. It's not nearly as destructive or as extensive as this project, so I can't really speak to that.
Okay. And is there anything else you'd like to add about this section of your property and how the pipeline will affect it?
Well, you know, as I said, it'll affect the view, it'll affect the buffer between us and 460. You know, during the construction process, I can't imagine how awful that's going to be with tremendous 30-ton pieces of equipment working their way across this rocky ground. There's a cave, there's a small cave down in the hollow down here below where they're planning to build the pipeline. Don't know what the effect on that cave will be. We're worried about erosion. There's a number of things we're worried about that will affect this side of the property.
Okay, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Pause it.